episode was a lot, and it got dark really fast. But let's get into it because it's gonna take me a minute probably. This is Love Island season 7, episode 26. Ciara and Nick still coming off a half they date earlier. But if they do have movie night this year, that's gonna be crushed because they is on cloud 9 right now. If they run back that footage of what Nick actually told Alandria, oh, it's gonna be some smoke in the city. Brian pulls Jaden, and Austin didn't expect him to pull Jaden. He said he caught his eye. He said she caught his eye when he first walked in talking about Jaden. Jaden said she never got the chance to be open because she was with Austin. You weren't with Austin but a week, but okay. She is glad Brian pulled her because it opened her eyes, and she said it's easy to talk to him. Nick wants to hear Huda's side of everything, so he pulls Huda for a chat, and she says all she has ever been told was it was just a challenge. It was just a challenge. Nothing is personal. And it isn't like she's trying to get with Ace. Nick says he understands that, but a line was definitely crossed. And it's the fact that everybody keeps saying a line was crossed, but everybody on the outside where is missing that point. They automatically make one person a victim. But she said she hasn't talked to Shelly because she doesn't think Shelly is ready to talk to her. So she says she takes full accountability. She takes full accountability now. That's what she just told Nick. She takes full accountability for going overboard and want to do it, and she won't do it again, and she will learn from this. Nick said he doesn't want her to feel alone, and he is here for her, and she appreciates it. And this what y'all be missing about Nick. Nick has this love-hate relationship where he manipulates Huda. Like, he had Huda thinking they're just the best of friend, and bop, gotcha, bitch. He snatch it right back from her. And y'all don't see it. So she said she thinks the point of the conversation was to help her understand what she did wrong, but she already knew what she did wrong. But why was you acting delulu like you didn't know what was going on? Girl. Andrina tells the girl how Pepe curved her and friend zoned her, and she said she ain't never been friend zoned in her life. And for some reason, Amaya said that Pepe was a weirdo. She gonna eat them words because Amaya, you just the biggest weirdo we never seen. It ain't in a bad way, it was in a good way. Amaya asks if she being dramatic, and Iris tells her not to pretend with anyone, be yourself. So Iris and TJ outside. Iris did have the decency, her and TJ, to go outside and do their hunting. But oh no, Ciara and Nick in the middle of the bed. It's 20 people in this villa there, and they hunting with all these folks around. Child. Taylor got his mouth wide open like a weirdo. So Ace comes in with breakfast for Shelly and more flowers, and Shelly started laughing and said, why you keep taking these people tree? He had that big old plant too. And then Zach brings Alandria breakfast right after bringing Amaya her breakfast. Now Amaya wants to speak to Zach. She said she guess he wanted his space yesterday, but he prioritized being with the guys more than anything. She said she is not jealous and asking how he feels. And every time he says something, she interrupts him. She said even though she's coupled up with him, she still feels single. He said Amaya is awesome, but it's been a lot of miscommunication with them. But he feels like he needs more conversations with Alandria. He kind of like backing off because his attention was always for Alandria, but Alandria curved him because she still had Taylor in her mind. But now that he see Taylor in the factory right now, he doubling down and want to go to Alandria, and he pushing Amaya to the back instead of just telling her that. That's my thing. Like, y'all get on Ace by Ace being mean, but Ace was up front with it. Now his delivery may have been wrong, but he never like led her on to make her think anything else. So Amaya starts crying, and he said he didn't want her to be like that, and he hugs her and apologizes. Everybody see her crying. Ciara and Nick, Iris, and TJ talk about Shelly and Huda. Nick said Huda took accountability, and Ciara said they just need to have a proper conversation. Nick is just happy that they are all in a good place. Dum, dum, dum. Chris said he kissed Huda and had a good conversation, so he's stepping back from Shelly. I'm tired of you saying it. Even though we ain't seen him put no effort into getting to have a better connection with Shelly, besides bringing her breakfast one morning and talking about making a song out of this. All we done seen you do. So Huda tells Andrina and Alandra that she kissed Chris, and after talking to her, Chris changed his feelings. He wants her now. That's all she wanted. And so now she likes him and wants a happy balance, which she needs. And Brian said he pulling Jalen for a chat again because they had a nice conversation. He had all his eggs in one basket with Andrina, but the conversation with him and her is just blah. It ain't going nowhere. And he gonna make it known that he is interested in Jaden. So Jaden said she thinks Austin is upset that she talked to Brian. He should be, because you're supposed to have been gone. So Grayson asks, do they think their couples are making it difficult for people to get to know them? And Clark Atlanta, she says definitely me. So what you trying to say, Clark? You didn't get a chance to explore like what y'all sent Jeremiah home for? Ace, your boy Taylor doing the same thing. Yeah, we ain't gonna talk about that though. So and they was like, yeah, you on lock, which is crazy. Clark said that it's crazy because he is still exploring, and Grayson said she was shocked, especially with all the affection that Taylor shows Clark. And Clark said, keep talking, you get me. In her confession, she said that they have a real connection. She is happy and that makes some of the other people not happy. So she basically talking about when Alandra called her a test, like she's still on it, not understanding what a test means. Alandra tells Sierra about her chat with Zach, and she said Zach is a lot of things, but he's not really the gentleman type compared to Taylor, that's why she like a country man. And I'm so sick. I need Alandra to get out of this fantasy with a country man. You need a man. It ain't gotta be a country nigga. They just as grimy. Like, get out of that mindset right there. You need a man. I don't care. Country man, child, miss me. Cause I ain't no country. I'm from the country, but I ain't country. I'm a city girl. Please believe me. So and you is too. She said Zach is a great guy, mature, and knows what he wants. She said Taylor's mind ain't made up yet. Yes, it is. And she still feels like he is the strongest connection. Oh. Taylor said Clark bring him into his sophomore era. I don't know what the hell that meant. And now he wants to know, how does he navigate this Alandra situation? Let her go. Be honest with me. Let her go. So Iris tells Grayson that Pepe likes her because he wouldn't be making her breakfast if he didn't. What the hell they had to do with anything? They all make breakfast people they don't like. So Grayson says she feels he is pulling back, and Pepe said he doesn't feel the spark. Well, Pepe telling the guys that he doesn't feel the spark with Grayson. She said he doesn't choose to send. She said he didn't choose to send his past connection home, meaning Hannah. So he may still have feelings for Hannah. So right after she said that, Pepe said in the last 3 days, Hannah has been in the back of his mind, and he doesn't want to string Grayson along and ruin her experience. And I respect you, but can you please tell her that? So TJ tells him to be straight up. Austin gets a text and it says, Islanders, it's time to share your honest opinions about one another and get everything off your chest in tonight's Vila game. Stand on business. And then Iris gets a text and it says, you will each receive a blank postcard to send your fellow Islanders telling them how you really feel. It's up to you if you want to sign your name on it or not. Clear the air, leave nothing unsaid. Ace said, I'm signing my name on everything. And he said, I've been waiting on this since day one. Huda said she knows she not what Huda say? what you got to say about her and not behind her back. Child, I bet you wish you would have ate them words. So Amaya said that this is her chance to call people out. Alandra said she signed an OC on everything. And this the perfect time for Shelly to tell Huda how she feel. I don't know why y'all feel like this was the perfect time, but I live for it. Sierra said address some of it, but maybe not all of it. But at least say something. So Clark said she hates the drama. She hates drama. She hates being messy. But this is going to force her to be in some mess. And she was like, I wonder what people got to say about me. Clark, nobody's thinking about you. I don't know why you feel like something was going to be said about you. Child, boo. Everybody agrees that it's finna get real messy. Austin goes up first. And his note says, it's from Anonymous. And it says they don't know how he made it this far. He doesn't give any girl any effort. You're just enjoying your time in the villa. And he said he don't know how he made it this far himself. And but he doesn't agree with whoever wrote that about him putting in effort. Jada said he definitely showed her effort. Girl, that ain't what you just said. So Andrina said, oh, I wrote that because she saw Ace do so much to show Shelly he wanted her. You see that, Shelly? And he didn't put up, and Austin didn't put up a fight when he was with her. Is my camera blurry? I ain't even finna clean it. And he said he respected. Move on. So Sierra is up next. She gets one addressed to her and Nick and say about not being quiet in the bedroom. Everyone thought that was so funny, but I'd be so pissed with Sierra and Nick. And she reads another one. It's addressed to her, Alandra, and Shelly from Pepe. And it said he doesn't know why they chose to send Hannah home. She is one of the only girls who truly explore unsafe connection with another person. The logic doesn't make sense. Why he addressed that to just Alandra, Shelly, and Sierra when I think Huda was part of that conversation. Was she a part of that conversation? I don't know. But And Sierra said Iris was exploring TJ. Amaya hasn't had the chance to explore any great connections. And Hannah had the chance to explore 2 really strong connections. And Pepe was someone who came in and was adamant about wanting to explore. And once he got paired up with Hannah, he had tunnel vision and didn't explore no one else. He said he respected it, and Shelly and Alandra echoed what he said, what Sierra said. Nick said he loved how they had a respectful argument and they argued their points real good. And I call bullshit because Sierra talks in a way that make you think she making sense, but she make none to me. So that's that. It's Amaya's turn, and it say to Amaya from ? Amaya swears she doesn't snore but wakes me up every night, and that was from Chris. And next we got Amaya from ? You cry more than needed. You try to move too fast with everyone. And she said, God forbid, I'm a sensitive gangster. She said everything she went through in life, many people confuse her crying as a weakness, but it's her strength. Clock it. She said, if you view it like that, she is not your cup of tea to be drinking, so don't drink it. I'm telling you, I was so proud of Amaya for getting it. So they asked if anyone wants to speak up, and Austin said he wrote it. Of course you did. And he said it came off harsh, but her intensity was way up. And she said people can't express themselves the way she can express herself. And she's so tired of people viewing that as a negative and not a power move. And Ace raised his hand and say it's time out. And he tells her she came out the gate saying babe and all this and try to meet people where they at first. And she said sometimes I'm not the book that someone should be reading. Brian speaks up for her and said in their culture, in the Spanish household, that's just how we talk. Say you have to meet her halfway too. Ace said he did that. Amaya said she respects that and thanked her for sharing her thoughts, and I would have cursed them all out, but she ain't me. Zach tried to speak up and say he took a step back because how passionate she is. And she said you had all the opportunity to tell me that when we was talking just over there. So don't speak to me with 20 people here. And she doesn't want to continue to speak to him. And she tells him to stop talking to her. She says she needed a break and she runs off crying. Ace tries to go run behind her, but the girl stopped him. So Sierra, I really wanted to see Ace talk to her because I wanted to see what he was going to say. I think people think it wasn't a good album. I think he actually was going to comfort her and give her a better insight on why he felt that way. I don't think he was going to say anything malicious. So Pepe is up next. Oh, Sierra told Amaya, don't let these men sit here and tell you how to be Amaya. People can see Amaya loves every single thing about her. She said, don't change for nobody or be Amaya and love everything about yourself. So Pepe is up next, and his note says, ever since Hannah left, have you been playing it safe until you leave the villa? We know that you don't like Grayson as you liked Hannah from question mark. He said he tried to explore Grayson, but getting Hannah snatched from him was frustrating. And Grayson said, frustrating for me too. So Grayson said, what are you saying and doing that people are saying that it's Love Island people recouple all the time? So what are you saying? She is here to make a connection and see that it's possible with Pepe, but if all this with him and Hannah is still relevant to him, he needs to let her get the opportunity to get to know other people. And Pepe said he doesn't care to talk about it anymore, and he said he's at peace. And Ace is up next. Said this week got good. Ace note says, Ace, if you and Sheila are so strong, why haven't you closed things off? From question mark. And Amaya raises her hand and says, it was from her. Ace says Shelly wanted to test a new connection and he was fine with it, and he was not going to tell her to close things off with someone who she wants to connect with. And Amaya said, oh, that was the perfect answer. Another note, Ace from Austin, baby, this week got good. So come close. Austin say, people have sucked up to what you say. The Ace posse doesn't go against you. When it comes to Jeremiah, he was damned if he did and damned if he did. I asked Austin to tell him what he means. Ace asked Austin, tell me what you mean before I respond and answer this. Austin said that they gave him a lot of stuff in the beginning when it came to the whole Jeremiah and Huda situation. He said Ace is a strong leader, and what he says is not going against. And the boys looking like, nigga, what? So Ace said, okay, boom. Andrina, do you feel like Jeremiah was coming on to you too strong? And she was like, yeah, but it looked like she wanted to say something else, but he kept going. And he said, yeah, that's his point about the love bombing that he has done since the day one. Just because he has the balls to say that doesn't mean I'm a hater. One of us out of the two is 6'5", and one of us is 5'10", and has the balls to say some shit around here because I have heart and you don't. You told us a story about Amaya, but she gets a whole different side to you, and it's pretty clear you tell us guys how you feel about her and not her. She don't understand it because you never said it to her. And Amaya said, no, I don't understand. Ace said, I'm going to speak my mind because I'm a leader, and I say it up front, and he don't give up. Who likes it or don't? You mad that people agree on how I feel? That's a you problem. He said Austin shies away from how he feels, and he doesn't. He said way more negative stuff about Amaya than positive. Amaya said you still here, and he tries to cut her off and say it ain't about you right now. And she said you still here, but bringing up guys that got sent home, why does that even matter? And he tries to insult her by saying she don't understand that this was to air stuff out. And she said you ain't got to be an interpreter for me. You ain't got to interpret nothing. And she said your colors are showing that she never seen before, and she glad we had this challenge because he never would have said none of this to her face, which he wouldn't have. He tried to say he never said anything because of her, the way she reacted now. And she said, you the one with the vein popping out your neck, nigga, cool. So Ace said, he said what he needed to say. He walks off. So Shelly's up next. This was another good one. Shelly's up next, and she says, And it says, Shelly, I don't understand why you want boundaries set for us both in challenges, but you want to continue connections. Ace. She said, you initiated the I am still exploring, so that's what she doing. He said, it's not a problem that you're exploring, but you putting a boundary on me while you still exploring. She said, we both said we're open, and now that she doing that is a problem. Ace asked everyone, is he missing something? Because someone please explain to me, because he doesn't get what is going on. So Shelly says she is confused too. Sierra tried to step in and says, during the challenge, y'all didn't set boundaries, and she comes to you and says, in our connection, I won't put a boundary in there. Into Sierra, that she believes so much in your connection, she wants to build upon it. So let's move toward, and in challenges it got too messy, but you have to decide who and what you want to do things with. I ain't understand a thing Sierra said, and I wrote it exactly how she said. I ain't understand nothing. Sierra didn't make a lick of sense, but they said he got it, child. But when it come to boundaries being set, what do it look like? Me dialing back my stuff while she's still exploring. That what Ace said. And I was like, Shelly made a face when he said that, and I was like, Shelly, baby, I love you to death, but I'm confused, and I'm kind of with Ace on this. So Shelly made a face and read the next note, and it said, Shelly and Chris, why haven't you had a conversation since Casa? Seems like a void. And Brian said he wrote that one. Shelly said certain intentions that have been said and haven't been followed through. And Chris was had his arm around Huda, and when she said that, he put that arm around Huda real quick. And he said, Chris said he curious to know what intentions were said that weren't being followed through. Shelly said she ain't seen nothing grand or significant than what he had already done. She doesn't want to ruin what she has based off a bunch of words, and that's exactly what you're doing. No, she don't want to ruin what she had with Ace off just Chris words and no action, when Ace is showing you all the action. So what are we doing here? You basically answered Ace's question. What was the point of exploring when you don't see nothing this nigga did for you? Child, Shelly pissed me off. And so Chris said he ain't got no more words. He done. So Shelly moves on to the next note, and it says to Shelly, do you remember saying it's just a challenge? When she said that, I knew exactly who wrote that one. You and Ace are still open. And Shelly said, I would love to know who wrote this so I can understand what they're referring to. Huda said she wrote it because back when her and Jeremiah were together, you was the #1 person telling me to relax and it's just a challenge, Huda. So Shelly said, the only time I recall telling you that is when bombshells were coming in. You wanted to tweak out on people who don't know you, don't know Jeremiah or y'all connection, and you wanted to be so furious with them for no reason. Huda said, I thought in general it was just a challenge. Shelly said, Shelly then says, I was not respected, and I feel like too many times I have given you chance and grace for stuff, and I'm trying to hear you out right now, and I really don't, and it just like aggravate me. Huda said, I did that in the moment. It upset you. It won't happen again. She said she hated, she upset Shelly, and she was sorry, and a challenge doesn't compare to her friendship to Shelly, and all she can do is ask for forgiveness, and if she doesn't want to, that's fine. Shelly said, I'm done with my questions, and walk off. So baby, Huda is up next, and first note says to Huda, I feel like Hannah was robbed of her Love Island experience twice when you should have been dumped from the island from Nick. When I tell you, Nick pulls Huda card every chance he get. You thought we were friends? No. So Nick, so wishy-washy, man. So Nick said, it's not really a surprise. I did vote you out twice. And it was so sad to see a great relationship like Hannah and Charlie disappear when you have gotten a lot more opportunities. She did, but that's y'all fault. So Huda said she has grown a lot in here, and she has continued to make mistakes, but that's life. Casa came and she did Casa to the fullest, and everyone that was at Casa said, yeah, she did. She explored everyone. So Next note, Huda from Anonymous. And it says, do you think you be following girl code when it comes to Chris and Shelly's relationship? Are you a girl's girl? Huda said, this is Love Island. We are exploring connections and no one owns anybody, especially if you was open. You know, like you was owning Jeremiah. Girl, miss me. And she opened the next note. Huda from Shelly. If you're going to preach about being a girl's girl, you should practice what you preach to. To want loyalty and respect but not give it is crazy. You say how your intentions are in the best interest of your friends, but they're actually selfish, and I wish you would stand on that. She asks, is this about the Chris situation? And Shelly said, it's about a lot of things we've already talked about. And when Jeremiah, you wanted loyalty and respect, and we gave that to you, but you didn't extend that when you had a chance to do that. The Chris thing, when you said it was a win-win situation, it was weird to me in the beginning when it came out your mouth. And Huda said because she was interested in Chris, and Shelly said, what? And Huda said, me bringing Chris back was not only for you. And then Shelly said, but you kept saying, but I'm doing this for you because I know you really want to get to know him. And Shelly said, you don't know me. You don't know what I really want. You don't know what it is. And you want to make it feel like it's for me, and it's not for me, it's for you. Shelly said you should. Shelly said she would have much more respected that if she would have came to her and been like, Shelly, I want him for me, and I want to explore that. She said she expressed to Chris a lot of times to keep pursuing Shelly, and Chris agrees. Now she has brought Shelly's name up with Chris a lot, but as far as exploring, I only see her asking him how her and Chris relationship is going. Alandra said, if you wanted her to continue to explore this connection and that you value sisterhood, and I get that you don't kiss and tell, but do you mind telling the class? And they both say, what you mean? And Alandra said that her and Chris kissed in the speakeasy. Huda said she told her girls that she trusted about her kiss with Chris, and Chris said that ain't nobody's business. And Huda said she can kiss people that she like. And Alandra, when I tell you something, it should be between us. Alandra said, I get that, but if you're going to keep pushing this sisterhood and you did it for Shelly, you wouldn't have moved like that. Shelly was going to find out anyway, and Huda was like, it wasn't Alandra's place to tell that. I agree. She shouldn't have said that in the midst of that moment or whatever, but Alandra said, you welcome. She did have misdirected, but I think she misdirected energy, but I think she was already on one. She was set, ready to go. So Chris is next, and to Chris from Sierra, are your intentions with Huda genuine? Chris, he said they are, and he told everyone that, and it surprised him that they get along and he connects with her. Or do you want a spot in the villa, was the next part of the question. He said he can care less about being there because he could be playing balls overseas. Now, I'm going to clock that because you can't be playing ball overseas right now. You want to know why? Because your season is over with. You haven't played ball since January of this year. And you talking that talk like you the LeBron in overseas or something. Your stats ain't that, so I call bullshit. So, whatever. So, for a man to know what he wants, you seem to change your mind quickly. He said his plan was to focus on Shelly. Simple as that. Anybody have anything to say? Sierra tells him to say his interest more because he hasn't been doing that, but she respects him for coming and clearing up. So she gonna back off on it. To Chris from Shelly, the switch up is crazy. If you just wanted to come in the villa, you could have just said that. Shelly said you didn't go as hard as you made it seem you would have. The switch up is crazy, but it is what it is. Chris said he don't care about being in the villa, and he walks off. It's Alandra's turn, and it say Alandra from Clark. I know you think I'm just a test, and that our connection is only physical, but it's way more than it's way more than that. It's very real. And Alandra said, "Congrats." Like, what the fuck you want me to do? So Clark said Clark talks so slow. Clark said when they had their chat, the only thing that was off-putting was her saying she was a test, and it's upsetting to feel like she a test and she learned about a lot about herself in there. She's not a physical person, but when she gets comfortable with a person, she is touchy. Alandra thanks her for signing a note and says that she got so much respect for her for doing it. But her saying she was a test with no jab at her at all. She said that for everyone that comes in, like the bombshells are a test. That's exactly what they are for. They come in and test your relationship, your connection, or whatever. So I don't know why she was so offended about that. And she said she apologized for that coming out wrong, only for Clark to say, "You are fine. I knew what you meant." What the? So Alandra said, and I love that she didn't have smoke for Clark. I think Clark wanted that smoke. She thought she was gonna have smoke for her to bait her in, and she didn't have no smoke for Clark. Alandra said, anyone else got something to say to get off their chest? No one says anything, and she said, I didn't think so. Last up is Taylor. And his first note is to Taylor, you and Alandra had a strong connection. How does that change so quickly from question mark? He said Clark gave him a different feeling and you get that kid feeling. Alandra said, how old are you? He was like 25. I can't be a kid and have a kid feeling? And she said, sure. Then Huda said, it's crazy how you guys have built a connection like 3 to 4 weeks and in 3 days changes that completely. He said, I already got to know Alandra for 3 weeks. Can I get to know Clark? And Huda said, then why are you telling Alandra you want to spend time with her, then you don't do that? He said he's trying, and Huda asked Clark, do you think he's trying? And she said, yeah, of course. Next note to Taylor from Alandra, stand no business and stop acting like a little bitch with a smiley face. She said, the night of the challenge, you told me you wanted to kiss me back, but out of respect for Clark, you didn't. And first of all, you never spared my feelings, but now you're sparing hers, and I don't like that. And if I was always, and if it was always F my feelings, it's F yours. You said you wanted to explore both of us, but don't give that. And she looks to Clark and said, did you know? Did he tell you that? And Clark said, yeah, she know. And Sierra said, don't forget when he chose Clark in the moment that wasn't on some I'm going to continue to get to know you both, she was going to leave the island. Alandra said, y'all didn't know no one was going to get saved, and you threw that whole connection away just because stuff got hard. And if she was moving like Taylor would, she wouldn't be here. Taylor wouldn't be here if she was moving like that. Jalen was here. When Jalen was here, she reassured Taylor every day he wasn't going nowhere. She wasn't going nowhere. She had reassured him that they connection strong. She was never gonna pick Jalen. And that's what she messed up at, because that's the only time that and then Ace had to tell him to step it up, because Jalen was coming in hot. And she had tunnel vision on Taylor, but Jalen was coming in real high. Ace had to tell him to step it up. That's when he really tried to step it up for her, because Taylor didn't have no other connections in there. She had a connection in there. She didn't fold like you did. So she said he ain't do shit with me. She said she has been so real with Taylor and he cannot express how angry she is, and she can't express how angry she been. She been holding her stuff together and taking it on the chin every day, being dumped left and right. Not once did I question my work. What do you need from this connection? And you couldn't say nothing. And a girl get in here and give you 3 days and attention, and you go. She tells him, go ahead and finish reading. He said, so you feel like where you coming from, you wanted me to think of you and move for you, and this experience is for everyone in here, and the time I move for me is a damn problem for you. He said he feel for Sierra that he could have left her vulnerable, and Alandra interrupts him and says she gave him 5 minutes of conversation, and he stand up and he asked can he finish, and she said you had a whole lot of shit, but you go ahead, so you ain't saying nothing but a bunch of BS. And he said, I'm not moving to keep you here, I'm moving to make a connection with, and that was the whole plan. But she was thinking he was going to move for her. To Taylor from question mark, make up your mind. He said, since y'all want me to make up my mind right now, but who wrote it? And nobody said who wrote it. And he said, I picked Clark. And Clark smirks. Alandra started clapping. Child, I'm tired. This episode was a lot. It was dark. Everybody got everything off their chest. The villa would not be the same anymore. Do we even need moving out at this point? Because at this point, these folks gonna fight, and I'm here for it. No, I'm not. I don't want to see y'all fight. But Child, that was my review of Love Island season 7, episode 26. Like, share, comment. I will talk to you guys Thursday.